Hello, welcome back. It's Saturday evening. I don't know how much it is. It's 8 p.m. and been very hot 30 days. So I'm tired because I've been in this apartment like 30 days, like 30 to 32 degrees Celsius. And it was a hot night and a little bit hot again today. But the weather have changed today. This is end of the month, so we have no money left. So actually I should not sit here, I should go somewhere, eat some food. It's Saturday evening. But I have to sit home alone many years, Friday and Saturday evening. And my computer's too old to play games because it's only Intel Core i5, the 8th generation. Yes, cheers. This old computers I have buy I call to my PC History Museum, personally Computer History Museum Denmark. That's not for gaming. That's for collection. That's some old gamer computer. I like to try to collect a PC computer from every LGA slot, every generation of the Intel CPUs, all the way back to year 1982. The Intel 80, 86, 86 and 88. The old IBM PC, but I don't have money for that. We had 2.5 years with this coronavirus, and we have a lockdown in China, and we have a global supply chains disturbance because many of these container terminals. They have too many ships containers, and the big container ships from Asia and China, they cannot unload their containers because many of these container terminals are full. So we have a kind of global supply chains disturbance after the 2.5 years with the coronavirus. And now we have this war in Ukraine half a year. Russia did invade and attack Ukraine the 24th February this year, half a year ago. And now they are in demand of computer chips, not just for CPUs like Intel CPUs, but they need computer chips everywhere for cell phones. And like this cat called, all kind of electronics have computer chips. Could be washing machines, refrigerators, all kind of, and TV, of course, flat screen TVs, satellite, cars, everything use computer chips. Motorcycles, I think they have computer chips in like everything. So and that's super complicated to make this computer chips, and it costs many billions of money, many billions of dollars to build this semiconductor factories, and takes many years to build. So I'm reading about that. I'm reading about this big semiconductor factories like the TSMC, Taiwan Semiconductor. I don't know what M is for there. And all this ST Microelectronics, Intel, Texas Instruments, United, all these companies, and Samsung, I forgot to write there. So, and I did put this on my read list. So let's read it. So actually I read this because I like to read about it. I'm not expecting many views on YouTube. So, but now this will be on my YouTube channel maybe. That only depends if I can finish record this and upload. But it's 8 p.m. soon. I need half a minute to do myself ready in my bed. And I read this document same time this computer voice is reading the document. I'm reading the document same time, but the screen is like 4 feet away. But this PDF, the letters is a kind of big, so I can read it from here. But sometimes the text is a bit small. But this text I can read.
2020 present global chip shortage. The global automotive industry was expected to lose $210 billion in revenue in 2021 due to the global chip shortage. 2. The 2020 present global chip shortage is an ongoing global crisis in which the demand for integrated circuits, commonly known as semiconductor chips, exceeds the supply, affecting more than 169 industries. 3. The crisis has led to major price increases, shortages, queues and scalping among consumers for automobiles, graphics cards, video game consoles, computers, and other products that require semiconductors. 4, 5, 6. Commonly cited causes for the shortage include the COVID-19 pandemic, the China-United States trade war, and various severe weather incidents. Contents. Causes: COVID-19 pandemic, China-United States trade war, severe weather, fires at facilities, Russia-Ukraine war, impacted industries, cars, desktop computers and graphics cards, video game consoles, reactions, governments, companies, recovery, references, causes. The global chip crisis is due to a combination of different events, with the snowball effect of the COVID-19 pandemic being the primary reason for accelerating shortages. Another contributing factor is that demand is so great that existing production capacity can't keep up. 7. Other causes have been attributed to the China-United States trade war and the 2021 drought in Taiwan. 8. 9. COVID-19 pandemic. An increase in remote work and remote learning. 10. 11. Caused a surge in demand for computers. 12. Network peripherals. 10. And other consumer electronics with chips. 12. Due to lockdowns, chip production facilities were shut down. 13. 14. Leading to the depletion of inventories. 15. In the fourth quarter of 2020, traditional computer sales saw a 26.1% growth over the previous year. 16. China-United States trade war. In September 2020, as part of the economic conflict between China and the United States, the U.S. Department of Commerce imposed restrictions on China's largest chip manufacturer, Semiconductor Manufacturing International Corporation, SMIC, which made it harder for them to sell to companies with American ties. 17. These restrictions forced companies to use other manufacturing plants like Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company Limited, TSMC, and Samsung. 18. However, these companies were already producing at maximum capacity. 19. In 2020, Global Foundries, a U.S.-based chipmaker and AMD's semiconductor manufacturing arm before its IPO, ceased operations at its only Chinese plant. The fab was supposed to produce 300mm wafers, but a 65,000 square meter factory in Beijing never began production. 20. Severe weather. A severe winter storm in February 2021 forced the closure of 2 plants in Austin, Texas owned by Samsung and NXP Semiconductors. due to loss of electricity. 21. This set back supply from these two plants by several months. 22. Taiwan is the leader of the global semiconductor industry, with TSMC alone accounting for more than 50% of the global wafer foundry market in 2020. 23. In 2021, Taiwan experienced its worst drought in more than half a century. 24. Leading to problems among chip manufacturers that use large amounts of ultra-pure water to clean their factories and wafers. For example, TSMC's facilities used more than 63,000 tons of water a day, more than 10% of the supply of two local reservoirs. 25. Fires at facilities. An Asahi KCE semiconductor plant which specializes in ADC and DAC components caught fire in October 2020. 22. Another Japanese factory owned by Renesas Electronics, which supplies 30% of the global market for microcontroller units used in cars, caught fire in March 2021. Renesas said it would take at least 100 days for them to get back to normal production. 26. In January 2022, a fire from the Berlin plant of ASML affected the production of EUV lithography equipment used in chip production. 27. Russia-Ukraine war. The price of neon, a noble gas needed for lasers in chip manufacture, increased sixfold between December 2021 and March 2022 due to the COVID-19 pandemic and political tensions in Ukraine. 28. The supply of neon was severely constrained by the 2022 Russian invasion of Ukraine, sparking fears that the conflict could worsen the chip shortage. Ukraine produces about half of the global neon supply as a byproduct of Russian steel industry, and 90% of the semiconductor-grade neon used in the United States. 29. 30. Semiconductor manufacturers have searched for alternative suppliers, such as noble gas manufacturers in China, but any new supplier would take at least 9 months to increase production. 28. The supply of krypton and xenon, of which Ukraine is also a major exporter, was affected as well. 31. Russia exports about 40% of the global supply of the metal palladium, used in certain chip components, and the supply of palladium could be affected by trade sanctions imposed by Western governments. 32. Impacted industries. According to an analysis by Goldman Sachs, at least 169 industries have been impacted by the global chip shortage. 3. With the automotive and consumer electronics industries among the most affected by the crisis. 33, 34, 35. Cars. U.S. automobile production. 1993-2021. The average modern car can have between 1,400 and 1,500 chips, some even up to 3,000. 36. Cars account for 15% of global chip production, while personal electronics account for around 50%. Chip revenues are even more skewed towards non-automotive sectors. 36. The chip shortage is expected to cost the global automotive industry $210 billion in revenue in 2021. 1. 2. Despite lower sales, some manufacturers increased profits over 2020, as Toyota and General Motors, for example, saw record profits for 2021, due to resilient demand and decreased financial incentives offered to buyers. 37, 38. At the start of the pandemic, car manufacturers incorrectly predicted that sales would drop, cancelled chip orders, and were unprepared to meet demand. 39. Chip manufacturers had more commitments from the AI sector, which reduced capacity for car chips. 36. Ford parked thousands of unfinished vehicles at Kentucky Speedway as the company waited for chips to finish assembling those cars. 40. Toyota planned to cut vehicle production worldwide by 40% in September 2021. 41. While General Motors announced it would halt production of almost all cars at its North American plants for a week or two that same month. 42. During the third quarter of 2021, there were only two-thirds as many new car sales in the United States as there had been during the same time period in 2020, as supply could not meet demand. 43. Opel closed its Silesia manufacturing plant until 2022 because of the shortage, causing 1,300 workers to be temporarily laid off. 44. In mid-2022, automotive manufacturing corporation Stellantis paused production at two plants in France, claiming a lack of semiconductors. 45. Desktop computers and graphics cards. The availability of virtually all components required to build a desktop computer has been greatly impacted by the global chip shortage. 46. The two main manufacturers of CPU chips, AMD and Intel, have struggled to keep up with the rising demand of their products as a result of the global pandemic. 47. Furthermore, the global chip shortage has made it difficult to acquire graphics cards. 48. With the availability of new and used GPU cards being further worsened by an increase in cryptocurrency mining in 2021. 49. Furthermore, AMD and Nvidia, the leading manufacturers of GPU cards, both released new models of their flagship cards during the pandemic. These newer models have been in extremely high demand, and rarely found in stock. 50. Furthermore, scalpers often utilize internet bots to automatically buy out a retailer's stock in a matter of seconds. 51. These cards are then resold with the price marked up to 300% above the MSRP. 52. Video game consoles. During the COVID-19 pandemic, cinemas and theaters were closed to prevent the spread of the virus, leading many people to turn to home entertainment during periods of self-isolation. 53. Which increased the demand for video game consoles. 53. 54. With the release of the 9th generation of video game consoles coinciding with the pandemic, demand increased even further, with both Microsoft and Sony reporting record demand for their new consoles. 54. Microsoft expected in February 2021 that shortages of the Xbox Series X and Series S would continue until at least mid-2021. 55. While Sony warned in May 2021 that short supply of the PlayStation 5 console would continue into 2022. 56. Both companies use AMD chips manufactured by TSMC in their 9th generation consoles, which puts extra strain on the supply chain. As supply problems persist, scalpers are reselling the consoles on websites such as eBay for 50 to 100% above the retail price. 57. Nintendo made 20% fewer Switch consoles. The company originally planned to produce as many as 30 million units, but will only be able to produce 24 million through their fiscal year, which is until March 2022. 58. Reactions. Governments. On the 24th of February, 2021, U.S. President Joe Biden signed an executive order trying to address the chip shortage by reviewing options to strengthen the semiconductor supply chain. 59. Later in April, CEOs of major technology companies and U.S. government officials attended a virtual summit with the White House to talk about improving the resilience of the semiconductor supply chain. 60. In a new virtual meeting on the 23rd of September, 2021, which followed another meeting in May, the White House pressed automakers, chip manufacturers and others to provide information on the ongoing crisis that has forced cuts to U.S. automobile production, and to take the lead in helping solve it. 61. U.S. Congress passed the CHIPS Act in summer 2022. President Biden